Today we are talking nonprofits and business. Let me tell you, you guys came on a good day today. Today we have one of the coolest women I've ever met. We've known each other since 2012. She's been on countless shows. She's won so many awards, it's absolutely ridiculous. She has documentaries, she's got docu-series, she's got films, she's got music, she's got an entire empowerment network made up globally in the women's movement. You guys came on a great day. I cannot wait because today we are going to launch something very, 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 very special that's never been talked about before, and I'm only going to tease you with this. It involves a kitchen. I'll see you guys on the inside.
Anything that involves a kitchen, I'm in.
Hey, so the fact that we had to do like 37 takes before this, it just shows that we're in rare form today. And when you have our special guest in the room today, you know me, Caren. I don't get messy very often, but I feel a little messy today because I'm a little taken back because Tess has created such a global movement and such power inside of the
Philanthropy, yes.
I just gang today for some reason. I can't say that word. You should have seen the outtakes of this.
It's the P word. It's the P word.
It's the P word. I just am so excited, Caren, because this is a topic I think a lot of business owners don't spend a lot of time thinking about.
Right.
And what it really does is it shows that you can blend both give back and social impact alongside business and really truly cause multi-generational impact. And I cannot wait to bring Tess Cacciatore out here.
So let's just do it then.
Let's just bring her in so she can be part of the party.
Who are you talking about?
Tess Cacciatore.
I'm just humbled by your introduction. Thank you, Casey. It's great to see you again. I haven't seen you forever. And I first have to say congratulations and thank you for my personal mug.
Of
Cheers.
course.
Cheers, everyone.
Welcome to Business Banter, Tess.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And philanthropist is a hard word, but you can always replace it with humanitarian or goofy girl because I'm both.
Exactly. Well, you know me too.
Goofy girl.
Goofy girl. I'm a Gigi.
Except for mine is spelled G-U-R-L.
Right. Girl. So we're talking all about nonprofits. We're talking about nonprofits in the business world and how if you're going to have a nonprofit, you really should be treating it like a business, right?
Well, I'll actually say, and Tess, let's just kind of jump right in. So, back in 2000, early 2000s, we'll say 2012 or so, I know that you had started Gwen and Gwen Global, which is the Global Women's Empowerment Network, and there's a profit component to that and a nonprofit component to that. I know you've traveled 5 out of the 7 continents over the past couple of years. You have been really on the forefront of blending business and nonprofit and humanitarian cause and impact. Literally globally. And today I'm really excited because I want to dig into, I really want to dig into the idea of how you're blending those and why you're blending those and why other business owners should kind of take on foundational work and the such. And first off, let me just congratulate you. I literally had to write it down. The Rescue, which is your current film that's out, you've won 21 film festivals worldwide, including one over at the Cannes Film Festival. And first off, let me just say, it's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Bravo.
It's Cannes World Film Festival. I just have to qualify that. It's a different festival than the big, huge one that we hear about, but it's Cannes World Film Festival.
It's Cannes.
It's Cannes. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a really crazy journey. It hasn't been for the faint of heart. It's been a roller coaster. Believe me, I have the bumper sticker that says "Keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times" on my bumper car. It's been a journey, but very blessed.
I mean, let me just say, just for anybody that's watching us, you have sort of 3 people from entertainment in here. Caren, if you don't know, if you watch the show, maybe you've paid attention or not. Caren used to be a very, very famous child rock and roll singer. Used to tour around.
My own shower. I was famous in my own shower.
Hey, I'm sure you have the residuals to prove it.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And I come from film production, and I just, for anybody that's out there to have a film completed and done, or a song or a piece of music that is out there, put out there, the amount of work and energy and resources and connections and blood, sweat, and tears that goes into that, most people will never know. So
Mhm.
just, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at what you've accomplished over the last few years, and I just am like, how do you sleep?
What sleep?
That's what I figured. That's what I figured you'd say. So Tess, let's talk just before we kind of jump in here, just for some context. Tell us kind of the framework of what Gwen is, who it serves, and then the difference between Gwen and Gwen Global.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to insert just something really quickly. I started World Trust Foundation, which is a 501c3, back in 1992. And I realized that coming out of entertainment, full entertainment, then I got brought into technology. And then I kind of switched places with the people that brought me in. They brought me in on the record producing side, the music producing side. And then we switched hats, and they went for the rock and roll version and I went for the nonprofit. So I've learned so much about the nonprofit arena. I've been tooting the horn of bringing nonprofits together to work in collaboration. But in the 90s, people laughed at me, they yelled at me, they hung up on me. And around 2000, I said, I'm just going to shift my focus into empowering young people and kids, the future. So World Trust Foundation did that lane as far as 2012, and there's a long journey. Read the book in between that, but I wanted to bring that up because back in that 1993 era, I really saw that nonprofits needed to collaborate and we needed to do the hybrid of the for-profit and the nonprofit. Now I want to say right now that there's so many corporations that have found the benefit of having Coca Cola Foundation and AT&T Foundation. Most of them have the foundation, but it's run completely on a different lane, as it should be, because they have different rules and regulations. So I just wanted to hinder that reference, because if someone wants to do what I've been doing, you have to be very, very clearly in different lanes, different board members, different attorneys, different policies, different filings, so, and different tax situations. So coming up to 2012, when I met you two lovely people, Gwen was born, and I kind of got further divined, and I dialed in very closely with what the nonprofit does and what Gwen Global does. And Gwen Global is staying in that production lane. So anything that comes out of the production side, that's Gwen Global. Where it comes out of the nonprofit side, that's about our healing. We have a workshop for kids that's coming up in the entertainment industry. We have workshops and about healing from trauma. I do a lot of work behind the scenes to really have people tell their stories. So transforming lives with this power of storytelling is our mission. So all of us have a story to tell. So where do you want to take it? Do you want to take it to the place where you're just having these small groups or one-on-one? Or do you want to tell your story and write a book? Do you want to have your book turn into a movie? So there's multiple facets, but you have to be really clear on what lane they stay in.
I get exhausted listening to you. I have to be
Oh
honest.
my God, I'm sorry.
No,
Well,
it's
this is the funny thing, because I listen to that and I'm like, yep, right, because and coming from film production, it's very similar in the sense of so many things have to be, books need to be kept meticulous, and different people need to be serving in different roles inside of that. So if we like pull back, I like to say, when in doubt, let's zoom out. And um, when I look at businesses that are today sort of contemplating this, going down an impact or a social conscious mission, they kind of just mess the whole thing up. I think a lot of people just kind of don't get it, and they don't understand why and how these two things interact. Like, why does Coca Cola have a foundation? Like, what's the purpose, right? I
Well,
was in
I've
a
I've looked under the belly of Coca Cola, and I'm not a Coca Cola drinker. I'm not going to bash any corporations. There's a lot of big corporations that you think are global brands in the nonprofit arena, and they just don't do what they say they're going to do. And I'm not going to mention any names, but they're very administration heavy, let's say. And so I've been neck and neck in different humanitarian projects where we actually built 38 homes in Sri Lanka within a year of the tsunami, where a big, huge global brand was still sitting on an outside island with stuff in storage, not even entering into the Sri Lankan or the Eastern Asian areas. So it depends, but I've seen some good stuff that Coca Cola has done with water. Um, so it all depends. I mean, I'm talking about the 800-pound gorillas here. I'm not. I'm like a pound monkey.
Well, the cool thing is that you can be nimble by being small or just starting
Exactly.
out. It gives you the ability to make quick, fast decisions, and you don't get stuck behind a bunch of tape. I remember I was in a room with Richard Branson, and he was talking about kind of his setup and why he set it up. And I find it really interesting that a lot of his like speaking fees and a lot of that extraneous income goes into his foundations
Yes.
to help support causes that he actually cares about. And what was really interesting in talking to him, and I think you're kind of the same way, is it's intertwined so much with who you are as a person, the
Yeah.
entertainer, the philanthropist, and the businesswoman. I think it's just like it's so intertwined.
It's very ingrained with who I am. So this is not for everybody to do. But when I make money in one world, I put it over to the nonprofit side and I spin that around. Not necessarily for the tax deduction. Obviously, we all need tax deductions, but really because I want to keep that in that lane and I want to be able to help people. So we just came back from Belize and we were doing a whole documentary thing down there, which I can't talk about yet, but I will soon. We brought a clean water project to the village and to the school so that we could be able to provide clean water. So you guys are the first ones that are hearing that. I haven't put anything on social media at all that I went down there, and this was just a few weeks ago.
Tess, I listened to you, and when I said I get exhausted, you have so many things that you've been involved with, all the projects and the foundations. How do you make a decision as to what you're going to do next? What is that thought process that goes through your head as you say, okay, we've got the rescue, and we're gonna do that, or we're gonna do a show and have a best original song. It's up for the best original song right now. Got to do the right thing, which is I love that song. I played it like ad nauseum.
Oh, good.
I love it. I love it. How
Wait
do
a minute, let's see who's collecting the money on behalf of those royalties. If Tess is collecting royalties, I say play the song all day.
Well, yes, we would be, but the music business is so fakata. We can have 5 hours of conversation on royalty payments,
right?
spins, and where that is now. So
So
I
how
can't
do
wait to
you?
make some money on that song so I can do something good with it.
Absolutely. So how do you choose? How do you have a new we're going to talk about it. You have a new project that is coming out. I'm excited because I get to be a part of it. But how do you make a decision as to what to do next? Because I am sure as people are listening right now, your fingers are everywhere. So what makes you move forward on a project?
First of all, it has to make my heart sing, because if I'm not passionate about it, I don't have the bandwidth for it. And people are coming at me a lot for different projects and all that. So it has to make my heart sing. And then I relay this back to the kitchen, that I have a lot of projects going on, but at any given moment, one might be in a slow simmer in the back of the stove. One will be frying and you have to pull it out and put it onto the cooling rack, and then something slowly baking in the oven. Everything is cyclical. And for me, if I don't have a lot going on, I get crazy because I have multiple layers of my brain that need to be activated at any given time. So I'm kind of a crazy girl that way. So I decide what brings the passion and what fits my mission. And then obviously the rescue was shot a couple of years ago. Then I put it into the film festival. And once I applied for the film festival circuit, you don't have to really do anything. You just kind of wait for the awards to come in and you kind of move on to your next thing. So the rescue was about trafficking awareness. It's a scripted short original, but that spawned the sex trafficking docu-series that I'm doing with Alex Riggs, which is her true life story, what she does to rescue kids. So we're filming that in the summer. So everything goes in cycles and everything goes in. So you have to kind of put a mind map together. So if I didn't have my mind map, and people like you, Caren, that are on my team with what we're going to talk about in a minute, um, The plate would spin off the table and the stove and crash to the floor.
We see one of those pictures of heads exploding, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk to the business owner that's they might be running a business right now. They're making a couple $1 million in revenue, and they're just like, you know what? I'm focused on. I'm making paper clips or I'm making widgets, and we're doing really well, and we're growing the business. But you know what? I know that deep down, I want to help some sort of social cause. What is what are some of the things that when you set those and you decided to split them apart or start them separately that you had to go through that a business owner might consider that maybe with the benefit of hindsight could have caused a little bit less anxiety?
So right off the bat, I would say you would have to find out what your passion is and discover that. So when I hear paperclip, I think business and I think education because we use paper clips in that. And if I was a business owner that had a lot of money that could give to a nonprofit and I wanted to start my own lane in my nonprofit, so it benefits on both sides, I would say service, come up with a nonprofit idea that helps focus on entrepreneurship and people starting their own businesses, helping to do minority and funding their businesses, or I would go and get involved with a school project or a community project. So there's multiple ways. It just depends on what makes your heart sing. Now, if this paperclip company guy or woman really has a passion for animals, it might be completely unrelated. So then you would have something that would be, save the rabbits in Toluca Lake. So, just coming up with something. Mine is elephants. I love the elephant causes, but I'm
Oh my
not
gosh, me
focusing on.
too. Me. I'm like I literally just this was so cool. I literally just recorded a presentation yesterday or Friday. Doesn't matter what day you're watching this, but Friday we recorded a thing, and one of the things they did was our free giveaway. There was a suggestion to donate to a nonprofit. I should have put Gwen in there, but I did. I did an elephant rescue because had nothing to do with business. It just I love elephants.
I
So
love elephants. My whole office upstairs is elephants that I've collected from all over the world. It was just like my elephant sanctuary. I feel so good when I come in there. So, I'm just saying that as, what is your passion? What do you want to do? And me. And so what I've done through World Trust Foundation and Gwen is that I have in my bylaws that I can be a fiscal sponsor. And I've launched a lot of nonprofits and I've helped support a lot of people that thought they might want to go down that path. So with a fiscal sponsorship, we sign an agreement. We have Gwen always has to be Global Women's Empowerment Network sponsored by, or fiscally sponsored by, has to be there with the 501c3 number. And then we take a small admin on the back end of all the money that they raise, but I help mentor them and I help them start it. And if they have a specific project that has a beginning, middle, and end, at least they have that project under the belt and they're on their way. If it's something that they actually get involved with and they like it and they love it and they want to do it, then I gracefully guide them to a place where they can get their own 501c3. Our attorney is wonderful that helps set up for that. And we set people up on a wonderful way. So water bearers, for instance, that I partner with for the clean water, they started off as a fiscal sponsor, and they're now thriving. They're probably in their fifth or sixth year, and they've expanded more globally, and they do wonderful work.
I love that. And are there restrictions on how a nonprofit can raise money for their projects that they want? Like, could they like? I'm just thinking of the film business or the music business. And I'm only saying this because I'm in the music business now and I understand catalogs and royalties and stuff. Could a nonprofit theoretically invest in entertainment projects that then create residuals in IP that then go back to pay the nonprofit so the nonprofit can create that? Is that kind of how it's set?
It would have to be on the for-profit side to create any kind of IPs, and then the person who owns the IP could actually um, do some kind of a legal paperwork where all the residuals from that IP actually gets donated into the nonprofit lane, whether it's their own nonprofit or a subsidiary or somebody else's nonprofit that associates with that music project. But they have to be separate.
And can we were talking, I think, a little bit off camera. Can the boards of the advisory boards, those two boards on the nonprofit and the for-profit, they have to be separate, or can there be some overlap? And obviously anything we say here is for entertainment purposes and education purposes only. Check with your CPA and your attorney, your tax, and yada, yada, yada. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of disclaimers down below, but you do have a world-leading expert with us. So,
well, I thank you for putting that disclaimer in there, because I'm not a lawyer, nor do I play one on TV. And laws change all the time. So all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't that way last year. So always keep up to date with your expert team that's in place. I would say, I'm going to just leave it at that, because I don't want to get in any trouble. But you have to just keep up to date with the laws.
So we kind of alluded to the fact that once again you are expanding and you are going into. It's not actually new because you've been cooking for years and years and years and years as a sous chef, and in fact, you're in a competition right now. I think you're number 2 in the leaderboard for the favorite chef. Which, when I first realized you were doing that, I knew you as this person in the entertainment industry, in the philanthropy. I said it right, philanthropy industry, writing songs. I didn't even know you cooked. I didn't know that this was a thing that you did until I started watching you. And so, Casey, you probably don't know this. I literally texted Tess a couple of weeks ago. It's only been a couple of weeks. And I said, have you ever thought about doing a live cooking show? And that kind of just snowballed. And we are in the midst of getting ready to launch. Go ahead, Tess. What's it called?
Kitchen Cacciatore.
I love that.
It's a perfect name, right? It's an absolutely perfect name.
Yeah, as you said, I've been cooking. I've had a catering business. I worked as a sous chef. I worked with my very, very, very dear friend, who I'll mention his name anytime I can because he passed away a few years ago, Stephen Shern, who was a chef back in a restaurant that I worked when I was an actress back in New York back in the day. And then he moved to California and took his chef skills, and he turned into one of the most amazing food stylists. And so we worked for the pictures of the covers of Bon Appetit and Food and Wine and Gourmet. So I learned a lot from him and from that whole experience. And so I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I have my family and friends hounding me for a long time. And in 2007, I was talking about chicken cacciatore, and I ended up kind of slipping up and calling it Kitchen Cacciatore. And I went, oh, that's a great name. So I've been hiding that brand since 2006, kind of sneaking it out every once in a while. But it was this favorite chef thing that, scrolling one night on Facebook, and that could be a dangerous thing. But this way it turned out to be kind of an interesting thing, because do you want to be a favorite chef? And I'm like, sure, why not? And I filled out the application thing, and then I completely forgot about it. But a month later, which was just recently, like less than a couple weeks ago, I got a text message saying, hey, you're entered into this competition. So I posted it and I said, hey, people. And most of the people, my close friends, were texting me going, finally, finally, finally. But it was your text message and call that I went, I trust you and I trust this thing, because otherwise people were saying, do it, do it, do it. But they weren't willing to jump in the water and swim with me. Right. But it's been a fast swim. I mean, this is literally less than 2 weeks, and we are in tech rehearsals and shooting. We have the logo done. The logo's being animated. We have the jingle done. Trademark is in process.
It's crazy. It really is kind of crazy. I mean, I work fast, but I don't think I've actually ever worked quite as fast as this, because I was telling Tess that, Casey always calls me M squared, Mama Minutia. And I told Tess the other day, Casey is like, I had met my match.
Well, now I'm the one that has a headache just listening, because 2 of you is a lot.
That's how you get stuff done. So the show is launching.
Oh my God, I have you exhausted and you have a headache. I don't know if I'll be invited back on your show again.
Oh, you can come back anytime you want. The show.
What I love about this is Tess, you brought up a phrase, and I have been trying to come up with a way to describe this for literally decades, of this idea. And I know I want to focus in on Kitchen Cacciatore, but I do think it's really important that I think as business owners, there are two extremes to a spectrum. On one end, there's a spectrum of somebody that is really good at one thing and they want to do the one thing and they read the one thing book and they think that's the Bible and like they're like all dialed into one thing. And then on the other hand, there are people like the three of us, which are on the extreme other end, where if we don't have 20 or 30 or 40 or 75 projects,
we're bored.
It's not even bored. We truly are exhausted because there's not enough going on.
Yeah.
And I love that you referred to it as getting the multiple layers of your brain engaged.
Yes.
I love that because I think there are going to be some people that maybe watch this and go, oh my gosh, they're all over the place. We got music, we've got entertainment, we've got water projects, and we've got building houses, and we have Kitchen Cacciatore, and oh my gosh, so much. I hear all of it, and it jazzes me, and I just light up, and I get excited because I'm like, here's somebody who has a lot of stuff going on, and these are the folks that are really the ones that are causing like massive impact.
And it's all connected. And I think that really is the point. It's all connected. Now, the reason why Kitchen Cacciatore is going to be a lot of fun is that the whole thing behind it is, singles on the go. And, and it's not just singles. It's people that are single even though they're in relationships. It's people that are making food for one, basically. So, Tess, tell us a little bit about the structure of what this is going to look like.
So singles on the go, like healthy recipes for singles on the go is something I'm working on behind the scenes because I've really been a single on the go. And I value having a balance in life. And I value having my give back time. But there's also that part that we can't let go of. We have to nurture ourselves. We have to do things that are going to make us feel self-love. So the show is going to be not only sharing recipes, but it's going to be sharing stories and sharing, for lack of a better word, the wisdom, which is my crazy thing of, the mistakes I've made, the bumps on the road, because believe me, there's been many. It's really about humbling down and knowing that we can nurture ourselves, and by nurturing ourselves, we get to have more space and more energy to nurture others. So the show is going to have a bunch of fun little things that we're going to be able to do together. We're going to have fun guests on the show. And if I go to Belize, or when I go back to Belize, we can take the show on the road. And there's a beautiful resort there that I can do the show from there. I can do the show, at the 4th of July with my best friends. So it's going to be fun. We have a really great outline coming up from now to the end of the year, which will be 2 seasons. And then we'll see where it goes from there.
And it's really coming full circle, Casey, because it's all about the live and it's all about the streaming and it's all about engaging with your audience and bringing them in to the story, because it is all about the story. I am so excited about this, in case you hadn't noticed.
It's really cool. I know she's excited, Tess, for what it's worth, because I sometimes when we get on the phone, I just have to set the phone down and put it on mute and walk away. And I know she's still going to be talking about it when we're done. That's how I can tell Caren's level of excitement with something, which is really awesome.
Like, I don't shut up. I literally do not shut up.
What I love about this idea, Tess, and walk me through this kind of thought process, because knowing you and watching you, I know there's going to be a social impact element to the show. I know that it's going to be very story driven. I think of Anthony Bourdain in terms of how he was able to weave sort of where he was and the story of the people and all of that inside of the show. I'm making an assumption here that it could be sort of like that adjacent.
Well, I'm telling you, I've been working on this brand for a long time. It wasn't called Kitchen Cacciatore at the time, but let me see. That was the year 2000, before Anthony Bourdain became Anthony Bourdain, and rest his soul.
Yeah.
I have footage in my archives of me in the back kitchens of families in Africa and the orphanages in Cambodia. So, I have all this stuff in my archives that I can see Caren's wheel spinning. There could be ways that we
She's
can
probably already sent you an email requesting it, by the way. There's already a link to some Dropbox or some sort of Trello board or some sort of production something.
Yes. But
I saw her go off camera about 5 minutes ago for 8 seconds. So you probably got an entire production run. There's probably the print and advertising costs. There's a marketing breakdown, a budget,
I know my phone's going ding, 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 Caren.
You guys are making fun of me now. Okay.
No, But here's the thing:
with love.
what makes it what this is a really really important thing for everybody in business to understand is when I look at the two of you in terms of what you can accomplish, and even though yes, I kind of joke with Caren that she's Mama Minutia, here's the reality: stuff doesn't get done if there isn't somebody that's got their eye on the ball. And then you take a guy like me who I need bifocals and contacts and glasses to even find the ball, much less focus on it. It's really important to have that advisory board or producers or connections to be able to get the ball moving. I think that's one of the things, just from a business perspective, that is so often missed is that business owners want to do everything on their own. Social media and sales and marketing, fulfillment and production and creative and ads and all this stuff. And at the end of the day, if everybody would just get in their lane and bring partners on and bring people on and advisors on and consultants on that are excellent at their lane, we get a lot more stuff done.
We have to have a solid team. And I just had a conversation before this, and I was talking to Alex, who we're going to be filming some stuff this summer. And she's really excited about Kitchen Cacciatore for many reasons. But she brought up that she does safety and security. That's her lane. I mean,
cool.
that's her, because she rescues children and she does really major training. But she said there's a whole audience out there that are the senior citizens that she does safety to. And I when I was writing up this whole proposal thing, 153 million singles in the United States, 2.1 billion in the whole world. So we have an untapped market. So can you imagine getting into the senior citizen living spaces, to the businessman that's traveling a lot, that, I'm going to be taking it everywhere. That it's really about how do you set up a ritual for ourselves in our busy lives and make it, cost effective, because we're all financially challenged in a lot of ways because of the economy. I want to find a place that we can just take a ritual of even just taking a breath and enjoy setting up a beautiful sacred place where you eat every night.
This is really cool. I mean, my mom and dad are a perfect example. They're in their mid 70s. My dad, unfortunately, is struggling getting over a bout of a bone marrow transplant and stuff. So he, unfortunately, has to be in an assisted living home. And my mom, who has not cooked, I mean, I didn't grow up with my mom cooking. I grew up with my dad cooking. My dad cooked. My dad was the cook of the family. My dad is now incapacitated. My mom is having to learn how to be a single on the go, even though she's not really single, but her eating is not done at the home. It's done at her house. And she doesn't really know what to do. This kind of show would be perfect for her.
Oh, I love it.
And people in her situation. I mean, they're out in Phoenix, and all you have to do is go to Phoenix and chuck a handful of gravel, and you hit 25 families that are affected by somebody transitioning on, having to reevaluate where they are in their own life, where they are in their own journey. And I think there are a lot of people, like what you said about, even though they're not necessarily marital single, people are single for all kinds of different reasons.
Yeah, and they could be, having different dietary needs. You might have a spouse that's gluten-free and the other one might have diabetes, but how do you merge those two together? And how do you have your individual lanes and your merge lane?
Yeah, I love that. I'm excited for the two of your show. I don't know how I can be a guest on it, but I want to play.
You can come in.
I just want
and and drink, because one of the things that's going to be happening is we're going to be doing some wine pairings as well.
I love that,
because it's never a bad time to have a glass of wine.
We're definitely doing pairings because that's part of my life. Having a beautiful glass of wine that pairs with the food I'm making. Right. I'm in love with lavender right now. We're doing a whole episode, the second one of July, that it's all about, how to stock your pantry so that any given day you can take your chicken or your fish or your tofu and send it in the Italian way, the Mediterranean way, the Mexican way, the Argentinian way, the Asian way, because I've collected spices all over the world and I've learned about food everywhere I've gone. So
and you've got family in the biz, and you've got family as well in the spice.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Francis Graziano is the third generation of the Graziano brothers. We're related by our grandmothers, and I'm talking to her tomorrow because she's made quite huge leaps with the family business, with the Italian herbs and the Graziano sausage, which is really well known in the Midwest. So I'm quite excited to bring that brand into the mix and merge our family. Do something fun.
So you know what's really funny? I'm just thinking this out loud. And I'm thinking this on the fly. This is not something that I planned out in my head, but I think this could be really cool. So we've had another guest on the Business Banter show named Laurel Mintz, and Laurel is the owner of Unsubscribed newsletter, and she is a venture capitalist for raising funds for uh, anything other than white straight men. She doesn't like me saying it that way, but that's the easiest way to say it. So she is really empowering women and women of color and the LGBTQ communities, founders, and then she runs a marketing agency. I say all of that. She does an entire section of her business is on creating amazing cocktails and how to create them, and she's just right here in town as well. It would be a really fun show to have the three of you ladies on an episode. So I'll just throw that
Well,
out
we
there.
can go to some place centralized, or you all can come here and we can have an episode because it's going to be on the go. So
Yeah.
we everything's very condensed equipment wise, and we have the master director behind the scenes that's pulling it all together. We can go anywhere.
We can go and that's for me personally. That's what's exciting about this is that it's limitless. It's only limited by our own imagination right now. And as I was actually took a note down, Laurel Mintz. That's a good person to talk with, and I think it would be kind of fun even to bring her on a show. So we'll talk about that later, Tess. I was putting some of your call to action. I want to make sure people know how to find you. They can go over to kitchencacciatore.com. That's the website. And LinkedIn, Tess Cacciatore, Kitchen Cacciatore. Say that 3 times fast. Instagram, Tess Cacciatore, Kitchen Cacciatore. And on Facebook, Tess Cacciatore, Kitchen Cacciatore. And we didn't even talk about the fact that you are an author. Bella wishes. You didn't even know that, Casey, right? She's an author as well. It's like, oh my God. And then finally, the new, YouTube channel for Kitchen Cacciatore. So there are lots of ways to connect with Tess. And of course, we want you to connect with us as well. You can follow us on businessbantershow.com. That's all I got.
Well, this has been awesome. And I think what this show really, if I take something away from this show, what I'm really going to take away from this is that we really can live a life of business and passion and give back and impact and do it in a way that we can fulfill everything in our lives. One of the things in my mastermind projects that I run is our tagline is from vision to profit, having it all. And I think this show really is a great example of someone like Tess, who has been able to create a life of having it all, being able to blend what she's passionate about, what she cares about, the causes that she wants to work with, as well as being in the production world, the music world, the writing world. And same with you, Caren, being able to have a bunch of different projects going on is creating massive impact. I could not be more thrilled. Tess, I'm going to just say thank you for stopping by here at the Business Banter Box. We're super stoked to have you.
I have my own mug with my name on it, so I won't forget who I am.
Exactly.
So guys, thanks for joining us today. Go out, give somebody an awesome day, and we'll see you next time on Business Banter.
See you guys.
See you guys.